Beginning lying on our backs in a Shavasana. Use your cushions behind your head if you need them. Make sure you have everything that you need. And you may wish to slightly spread your legs, let your arms float out to the side, whatever feels appropriate and right for you. Allowing your breath to settle and be. Perhaps noticing the quality of your breath, and at any time and throughout, if you wish to continue breathing with Ujjayi breath, to allow that breath to be more aerating, increasing your energy, your stamina, then feel free to do that. And as we move through this practice, remembering that you are working with your body to your level, and any of the positions or movements that are inappropriate for you, either leave them out, come to a resting position, or alternatively, if you're watching this or anything, then you could do it later. Or if you wanted to do an alternative, find an alternative that you could use that works similar areas of the body, is comfortable and acceptable and doable for you. Our first practice is fairly simple and straightforward, but it does require a little bit of sense of your center, to work from your center, and you'll take your body wherever it can go. We're beginning lying in a straight line, if that's possible. Let's bring your feet together. Arms alongside the body, back of the neck long, supported if you need it. So your chin perhaps feels it's slightly tucked. And then bend both legs and place the feet on the floor comfortably to support your lower back. Doesn't need to go anywhere special. Then we're going to bring our awareness to the right side of our body, leaving the hands both on the floor beside us at the moment. Allow your right knee to come up on top of the chest or towards the chest, and bring your knee in. And notice those abdominal muscles being used to hold that leg in. Doesn't matter where it comes to, it's not important. Wherever you can pull it to. As you breathe in, you're going to lift your right arm up over the top, wherever it will go, as you extend your right foot along the floor till it's straight on the floor. You're stretching out the side. Breathe out as you stay there. Take another deep breath in, stretch a little more if you can. And as you breathe out, lifting your foot off, bring your knee back onto your chest and your arm back along the side of your body. As you breathe in, lifting your right arm, stretch out the right leg. Stay to breathe out and to breathe in. On the second exhale, return to your start. Repeat that twice more, 4 times altogether. Really work the stretch in the middle breath. And then contract yourself back to the center. So it takes 2 whole breaths, and you probably feel those abdominals coming in and contracting as you breathe out. You can hold them in as you breathe in and stretch. And as you breathe out, contract them even more to pull that leg in and let that arm drop. Placing the right foot to the floor when you're ready. And changing sides. So we begin by bringing the left knee in. And then we take the arm and the leg away from the middle as you breathe in. Stick it out, long way away. Hold as you breathe out. Draw those abdominals, flatten that back. Breathe in, hold. Continue to feel that engagement, that stretch. As you breathe out, flatten and stretch a little more, perhaps. Sorry, as you breathe in, and then as you breathe out, bring your knee in and your arm back. Inhaling second time round, stretching out, breathing out there, in there, increasing the stretch. And when you're ready, the exhale will pull you back in. Hand beside the body, knee into chest. When you've done 4 on this side, you can rest with your feet on the ground or slide the legs away. So from there, checking in that you have space beside you. So if you have any things in your way, you might want to just move them out of your way. Your arms can go side to side and your knees can drop to the side as we take ourselves into a very gentle, comfortable lying twist. Remember, your arms don't need to be too, and we'll start with our feet wide apart, comfortably wide apart. So knees and heels are roughly in line, but adjust for your own needs. And then as you breathe in, stay in the middle. As you breathe out, allow both knees to softly roll over to the right, and the head can look to the left if you wish. As you breathe in, engage the abdominals, push the back of the waist down. And as you breathe out, allow the knees to roll to the other side, head to the opposite side to the legs. Repeating that 4 times to each side, so 3 more each way. Check your full in-breath as you've reached the middle. Full out breath as you reach the side, little pause. And encompass your breath. So begin to breathe in before you lift. Finish the inhale as you come to the top. Begin to breathe out before you let the legs go to the other side. Complete the exhale as the legs are to the side and the head is turned. Pressing the back of the waist down as you bring the legs up, allowing you to engage through the center of your body. Doesn't matter where you end up, because wherever you end up is right for you. Make sure your knees and feet are wider than your hips when you start. When you completed the last one, to your left side, draw your legs back to the middle and choose to either place your knees on your chest or hug, or slide your legs away and softly release your arms. And hopefully you've still got space above your heads. And we're going to work gently with the legs and the knees. So we're going to begin dynamically and then pause with this. So it's the setu bandha legs. We bend our knees, place the feet on the floor, and bring our feet and knees together. Arms can either be beside you or slightly away from the side is probably a good idea, depending on whether you need your arms or not. So engage slightly through the front so that you press the back of the waist down and keep it there to the best of your ability. Breathing in, as you breathe out, allow the knees to drop out so you're rolling onto the outside edge of your feet, but we're not pushing them together. Engage through the center of your body, pelvic muscles, inner thighs, and pull your legs back up to the middle as you breathe in. Feet end up flat on the floor beside each other. As you breathe out, let the legs fall open, knees as far as they will go. And then repeat that 2 more times dynamically. pressing through the back of the waist, using those inner thighs, using the pelvic muscles. Exhaling, begin the exhale, then allow the legs to drop. Don't push the feet together to let them fall apart wherever they come to. Engage first and then lift them as you come back up. And as you breathe out, allow them to flow down and out. And after your fourth one, if it's all right for you, you can leave the legs there. And now you might like to bring the soles of your feet together. You don't have to touch, depending on how much your feet roll open. And you can just let the legs drop to the sides. And you'll probably feel some stretch on your inner thighs. If it's too intense, you could use your hands to slightly underneath your legs as a little support. Or put some cushions there. But we're allowing the legs to stretch. And if you'd like a little more, you could place your hands on the inner thighs, head to the ceiling. As you breathe in, you lift the arms, pressing the back of the waist down towards the floor. And as you breathe out, you engage those abdominals and bring the hands back and let the knees drop. If you like that dynamic way, while you're resting the legs open, you can repeat it another 4 to 6 times while you let your legs be dropped out. Remember, if it's too intense for your inner thighs, have a little bit of padding, because they will still let go, even if they are slightly supported on bolsters or cushions. So you can use those abdominals. As you bring your arms back, feel those ribs pulling down towards your pelvis, pulling your chest towards your navel, and helping to flatten out and press the center of your body and draw it together. We'll continue working if you wish to with the arms, or simply resting with your legs dropping out, closing the eyes and breathing. Each exhale, imagining the legs dropping further out and down. And then slowly, gently, if you've completed all your arm movements, you can bring your hands underneath your outer thighs and softly engaging the middle of your legs, pull the legs back up to the center. And you may want to bring your knees in or stretch your legs out, whatever feels right for your body. And if you need to rock your pelvis slightly, circle your knees or move your knees backwards and forwards in Apanasana with your breath. You can do any of those little modifications and gentle releases. And then we're placing the feet back on the floor. This time, encouraging those heels underneath the knees as vertical shins, arms alongside the body. And looking to lift ourselves up gently, slowly, gradually into our 2-foot support, Dvipadapitam or bridge. So your face is looking straight up, back of the neck is long. If you have got cushions, supports under your head, you may want to reduce that or move those for the moment, just checking in how well you're able to bring your chin down. Then finding firm contact with the soles of your feet, a sense of containment through the middle of your body. And when you're ready, on a breath out, press down through your feet, tuck your tail up, and slowly peel your body into an approximate straight line from knee to armpit. Take a breath in there, and as you breathe out, starting roughly between your shoulder blades, roll your spine, keeping that chin gently down, chin in towards the chest, and dropping the pelvis to the floor. Breathe in, and as you breathe out, press down through the floor and peel your spine back up, possibly for some going a little higher now. Breathe in as you hold, press down through those feet, engage those thighs and buttocks, and as you breathe out, roll the body down, moving with your breath and with your strength. Repeating that 2 more times, going as far as you feel is appropriate for you, using your breath as the length of time it takes you to get up, on the breath out, holding there strongly as you breathe in, and lowering your body with control and the breath coming out and down. Staying down as you breathe in and repeating, moving on the breath out for the last round. And if and when you finish that last round, you might like to slide your legs away. Let the arms rest and experience the length of your body. As the bridge or Dvipadipita gently allows us to begin to extend through our spine, give it more space between the vertebrae. And so we may feel a little taller when we've completed. The arms alongside the body, body straight. You might like to point your toes away here. And then as you breathe in, if it's comfortable, lift your arms up over your head. If you need to bend your elbows slightly, feel free to, or rest your hands on a bolster if they don't reach the floor easily and that's more comfortable. And then stretching through both sides of the body and the feet away, deep breaths. Feel a full body stretch. And then you might like to breathe in as you pull your heels, push your heels away, pull your toes up. Feeling that stretch to the back line of the body. And as you breathe out, stretch the feet and press the back of the waist down. Breathing in, pull the toes up, flexing the feet, push the heels away, feel the stretch to the back of the body. And as you breathe out, stretching more through the front of the body and feeling that sense of top and bottom or front and back coming together. Do more dynamically if you wish to. Just using those feet, little pedals to stretch and increase the length through the front and the back of the body. And after the last one, take a breath in, relax breath in, and as you breathe out, bring your arms back alongside the body. And take a moment to rest, move the feet apart, let the arms rest, or if you find you need to, bend the legs and place the feet on the floor. Reposition your head support if you require it, to avoid having your chin lifting up and overexposing your front of the throat. More interested in link through the back of the neck. From here, you may like to bend your legs, feet on the floor, and softly, carefully, with attention to your abdominals, rolling yourself over and then coming to lie on your front. So repositioning your body on the mat, face down, perhaps one hand on top of the other, forehead on your hands, elbows out to the side. Feet comfortably resting, remembering if you need it, if your feet don't flatten, then please put something rolled up underneath your ankles. You'll have to change your position. But a rolled blanket or a rolled towel or something like that underneath your ankles will protect your toes from feeling as though they're being pressed into the earth. Use the props that you have, or find something around the house that you can use. So beginning with our heads down, bringing awareness into our breath. We experience that sense of the expansion from the ribs down to the pelvis, front and back. As you breathe in and as you breathe out, the contraction. A sense of the back sinking down and the abdominals gently always rising up. So if the natural pattern of your breath is not familiar to you, this position is an extremely useful place to become familiar with our natural pattern of breath. But as the diaphragm draws flatter, it pulls air into our lungs and the abdomen has to get out of the way. And as you breathe out, As the lungs empty, they'll pull the diaphragm back up and the abdominals can drift back towards the spine. Coming up gently onto your forearms and into a Sphinx position. You may like to have your hands out in front of you this time, your elbows comfortably underneath your shoulders, armpits, and your forearms in front of you and your hands on the floor. Checking in that your pelvis is comfortable, and if you find that for you, your elbows, your shoulders, you need to have your elbows slightly further forward, that's probably a useful thing to do, or potentially even slightly wider apart rather than narrower. We're looking for space across the upper chest, across the collarbones. So if you have a sense of some space there, stay. If you need more space there, rearrange your arms comfortably to do that. So taking a moment here to settle, observing whatever sensations you have in your back. So subject to what you've been up to prior to this session, there may be more or less talking going on with your lower back and you. And if you feel able to, allow those shoulder blades to slide down towards the waist. Experience your breath, introduce Ujjayi if that's comfortable for you. And an extension up through the crown of the head rather than lifting the chin. So in all back bends, I would recommend avoiding throwing the head back. So taking variations on the Cobra, Sphinx. And we're going to take a slight lateral stretch. And rather than moving our arms for this, we're going to move our legs. So when you feel ready, take your right leg slightly out to the right. And if you're able to, move your left leg towards it or to it. You may not get it to it. So do what is right for you. And you'll feel a stretch along, hopefully, the left side of the body. Forearms, elbows are staying where they are. And you breathe. Perhaps feel more breath coming into the left ribs, the left side of the lungs. You may have only gone a tiny weeny bit with the feet, that's fine. And then drift the left foot out slightly to the left and walk your right foot towards it, but keeping the pelvis facing down to the floor. If you find it too strong on your forearms, you could bring your hands together as a bit of a small prop for you, or even drop down your chin into your hands to let your head go and still have that sense of the lower body doing its slight lateral stretch. And you'll notice undoubtedly that it changes the sensations in your lower back as you do this. So allow that to happen. If it becomes too intense, move back to the center. Then realigning your feet, legs in line with your pelvis. Give a little wriggle if you wish to. Lift the heart one more time as you take a deep breath in. And then softly ease the elbows out and lower your head down to rest once more. From Sphinx, we're moving into Shalabhasana Locust. So if you wish to, your hands can stay one on top of the other on top underneath your forehead, or you may choose to take your hands down alongside you, putting your forearms inside your pelvic bones, or you could have your hands just resting alongside you, chin on the ground, and your hands, palms facing downwards. So those are variations that you might find useful. I don't have my hands underneath me, my mic is completely squashed on the floor, so you may not be able to hear me. All right, so when you're ready, you're going to extend the right leg and lift it up as you breathe in, wherever it goes to, And as you breathe out, lower it down. Lifting the opposite leg as you breathe in, and as you breathe out, lowering it down. So you're keeping that going. As you breathe in, lifting one leg. As you breathe out, lower it down. As you breathe in, lift the other leg. And as you breathe out, lower it down. Feel as though those legs are being lifted from the middle of your waist. So that's where your legs extend from to lift into the air. Rather than thinking of your legs lifting from the top of your leg where it joins onto your torso at your hip. The leg muscles go further up and attach to the lumbar spine. So our muscles that hold our legs onto our spine start in the lumbar and go all the way up to almost the bottom of the ribs. That's a nice thought of them coming out of there to lift. If you'd like to do one or two more on each side, if you've had sufficient for you, feel free to stop. And then you can take your arms out from wherever they've been, if they were pinned underneath you, and rest comfortably, perhaps with your hands back underneath your head. We're going to take a short, almost a rest, but it's a purposeful rest here, in what's known as the flapping fish. And it can be a useful position for helping release across the hip area and the lower back, sometimes when we have tension in that area. If you need to use padding underneath your knees or any other parts of your body as you go into this, please feel free to do so. If you have your hands one on top of the other underneath your forehead, you could leave them there for a moment and then change them as and when you needed to in order to accommodate the body. So from there, what we're doing is we're going to let one leg slide up to the side of us as if we're doing a bit of a commando crawl, but comfortably and safely for you. So the knee is flat on the ground, the inside of the foot is resting. And then we could take the torso, the body, and shift the opposite elbow up towards the top of the mat. So the other elbow comes slightly towards that knee that we brought up. The head could rest in the crook of the arm if that's comfortable, or use a cushion or a folded blanket instead to help your head be comfortable. Then the final action, if you wish to do it, is to bring the other leg up, over, slide it over till your foot meets the other, till your foot that you bent first meets your shin or your knee or whatever you, and you can readjust those legs to be more comfortable for you. And then you might have to readjust for other bits and pieces of your body, depending what you have. And so allowing the body to release across that sacral area. It doesn't need to be extreme, and we're going to stay here comfortably, pausing and resting for 2 minutes. And just be. And you might like to close your eyes and observe your breath. And practice your ujjayi. And as you settle and you check, make little adjustments into the position. If your top arm is not happy bent, you could straighten it out. Rest your head on your upper arm. So all the bits could be gently rearranged in order to take yourself into the most appropriate position for you. Each breath out might take you just a little heavier down into the ground. And if you felt you wanted a bit more stretch, you could lift the knee a little closer to your elbow and walk the back leg slightly closer. All the time just checking in that the lower back feels fine. A sense of release there, not a cramping or a crushing or a compression. Softly releasing, very slowly, your leg comes back first. Your body can move as your other leg comes back and you're lying flat with your head resting once more. And taking a moment to notice the sensations, notice what's going on, notice whether that feels different on one side to the other. And making sure you have enough space on the other side to bring your knee up. Turn your body round, walk it slightly so that elbow is up if you can. Rest your head if you can, or straighten that arm. And then when you're ready, walking the other leg across to find it. And settling there once you're ready in your flapping flesh. Beginning once again to rest for your 2 minutes. Taking the time to experience body, breath, surrendering down into the release, making sure you're comfortable in your sacral hip area. You have sufficient padding which you need. You may notice as you work with this that the two sides are quite different. Often the way. You may go further one side than we do the other. Or we just simply experience the sensations differently. As our asymmetric body alerts us. And breathing, and sinking. If you feel like moving that knee just a touch closer to your elbow, bring the other leg a little across, but if you start to find that's too strong, go back. Settling in with your breath. Softly, gently returning to the center, lying on your front. If that's uncomfortable for your knees to stay there for too long, roll over onto your back. Or after you've taken a moment to experience your body coming back to balance in the middle, you may like to travel softly back to a child's pose, bringing your buttocks to your heels. Alternatively, as I said, roll onto your back and bring your knees onto your chest. You will know what is right for you, and you should obey your body and do what is right for you, and particularly for your knees. So pausing there, perhaps in a child's pose or lying on your back with your legs hugged. And we're going to take ourselves gently into a little frog pose. So those of you who are on your backs, you won't do the frog, you'll do the butterfly. You can either sit up to do the butterfly if you'd like to, and take your soles of your feet together, or you come up if you've been in child and take your knees wider. Toes can either be pointing towards each other. For those who are able to take their feet out and drop their pelvis down, because their pelvis hips do that, you can do that in the frog. I personally can't. I would break something, so I avoid that, but we're allowing the sitting bones to stay down there as we allow the chest to come forward. We're back into that stretch on the inner thighs once more. So Subject to what feels good for you, you can use your hands as brakes if you're doing the frog, and let yourself drop comfortably down. Maybe your head reaches the floor, or you want to put a block or a folded blanket under your forehead. If you're sitting, bringing the soles of the feet together, somewhere comfortable for you, and as far as you're able to, bringing that sense of lengthening through the inner thighs by leaning slightly forwards, either with the hands forward or the hands behind you as a slight prop to ease and allow your body to drop towards your legs. So whichever works best for you. Allow yourself to sink and ease and be. And then walking the hands gently back if you're in frog, coming up to sit if you're in butterfly. And we're going to move on to all fours. So if you are fine with that, you can use a blanket, remember, to put underneath your knees, or a folded blanket towel, and bring yourself gently over or up into all fours. So taking Chakravakasana, moving from cat to child, but if that's inappropriate for you, simply stay up on all fours and only work in your cat. So from here, you breathe in, and as you breathe out, tucking the tail, pushing the spine up towards the ceiling. As you breathe in, taking the tail the other way, and let the spine drop in towards the body, or if you like, the floor. On the next breath out, those who wish to and are able to, rounding, start the rounding, and then take your tail down towards your heels. And as you breathe in, lift your heart slightly forward, opening into your cow. Tucking your tail, tucking your chin as you take yourself back. And those not moving, feel free to stay doing cat-cow, rather than moving up and down towards your heels. 4 more times, working with your breath. Check you've got those centers engaged, because as you breathe out, pull that belly up. As you breathe in, keep an engagement there. There's a strength through the center of your body. And when you finish the last one, you can either stay down in child for a moment or stay up. Or the alternative is to put your forearms down, your hands down, and rest your head pat on your hands in what I call the breaking position. Softly back up onto all fours. Taking ourselves into thread the needle. Then we take our arm and we're doing a little twist. It doesn't matter where you get to, it's not important. Do what you can do. We'll start by taking the right arm up towards the sky if we're able to. We can look up there. And as you breathe out, you take that right arm and you post it underneath. Now you can either take the elbow down to the floor, or you can take the elbow out to the side as you roll your right ear and right shoulder towards the floor. So that left elbow can be down on the floor or up. I don't mind which you do. Stay for a moment and feel as though a hand is coming out to reach your right hand and gently drawing you slightly further round if you can. Imagine somebody holding your hand and allow, without forcing, but easing you, that hand and your arm and your shoulder towards the other side. One more breath. And on the next inhale, lift the elbow up or straighten the left arm as the right arm goes up. And as you breathe out, bring that hand back underneath the armpit. Breathing in, taking the left arm up, going to look towards that hand. As you breathe out, posting that arm out. If you haven't got room, you might want to bend the elbow. You're running out of space on one side. Turning, letting that left shoulder drop to the floor, the face turn to the right, And the left hand sliding out towards the right side of the room. Deep breaths. Feel the rotation in the chest. Remember, it's your ribs that are twisting. And the most rotation in the ribs is through the middle of the chest, in between the shoulder blades, bottom of the shoulder blades, and just below that. Hold your breath. Allow your breath to imagine pulling and releasing and easing that hand a little further across. After the next exhale, as you breathe in, release yourself, straightening the right arm, looking up if you can, and then coming back down onto all fours. And you might want to take yourself into a cat-cow again, or simply roll yourself down to a child pose, or come to lie on your back, or hug your knees in if child's pose is less comfortable for you. And slowly, gently, easing your way, either rolling over onto one side if you've been lying, and rolling yourself up if you've been kneeling, and bring yourself back to your upright seated position. Use your chair if you choose to. When you feel ready, you might like to place the hands once more on the navel, midriff, or upper chest. And return to your wave pranayama as you breathe out, drawing from the base of the torso, pushing the air out all the way up, holding it out, and allowing it to fill from the top down to the bottom. And really finding your ujjayi. After the next breath out, letting go of your ujjayi, perhaps letting go of your hands. You may like to take up Hakini Mudra briefly, bringing all your fingertips together in a rounded way, so as if you're holding two bowls, and just place those two bowls together. Two halves of coconuts, and put in. Resting them either near the navel or down on the legs, and centering your body. Taking your awareness into your left side of the body, your unconscious side, the moon side, the cool side. And take your awareness to the right side, sun side, mental side, the action side. And integrating left and right together. Harmonizing sun, moon, male, female, light, dark, hatha, Aware of the back of your body. Aware of the front of your body. And integrate back and front completely. Aware of the lower half of your body from waist down. And the upper half of your body from the waist up. Grounded in the earth and the spiritual heights. And integrate those aspects and qualities of yourself together. Feel right, left, back, front, bottom, top, all integrated completely into a harmonious unity. I am that. So calm. Draw the palms of the hands together at your heart. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and at peace. Hari Om Tat Sat. Namaste.